Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing basically the soft glam look that I have been doing and posting pretty much like all over my Instagram, and I've been doing on a lot of my clients recently. I have done, I think, a video on it before, but it wasn't that in depth because I don't know, I didn't really think that people would be that like obsessed with it, people like it that much. So, because a lot of people have been asking me how I do it, and it's not like a really complex look, but a lot of people have just been asking me about it, so I thought, let's do a video. So I'm going to be doing it on myself, because I thought that way I can talk through it a lot better. So yeah, if you want to see how I get my soft glam look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so starting off with eyebrows, I like to take the Anastasia Beverly Hills medium brown brow powder duo, and I just fill my brows in with this. I just also use the Holy Grail brow duo brush. I'll zoom in actually. Okay, then as probably most of you know, I like to take the P. Louise eye base. This one's in the shade 02. I love this base for any look. I feel like a monkey. Just because it's so, all the like the colors cling so nicely and it just blends so well. And yeah, I'm obsessed. So I'm just going to take a little bit on the back of my hand, like that much. I take a small concealer brush and then also a bigger one as well. I use the smaller one to carve out under my eyebrows and then the bigger one to pack it all over my lid just because it's quicker. Now for eyeshadow. So the palettes that I like to use when doing my soft glam looks, the Morphe James Charles palette, I basically use two shades. So I take that shade right there, which is basically non-existent, and also the black one. You can tell the two shades that I like the most. That brown shade is just such a nice warm brown color, and the black's really good in there as well. The other palette that I have recently picked up and I'm obsessed with is the Be Perfect Jar palette, and I also like to take, as you can see, this color right here. I like to now mix this one with the James Charles color and it looks really nice. I also like to take some of the depending on what sort of look I'm doing, like depending on the colouring of the person, I like to take maybe with some of these sort of colours as well, which is Sandy and Dirty Tan. Amazing. I also use these are just, this is just like a palette that I've made. So I take Brick from Anastasia Beverly Hills and Tan Lines from Makeup Geek. Oh my god, I've got makeup everywhere. And I mix the two together. The last palette that I always use, I always take the shimmer shade, is the Be Perfect Carnival palette. Mine's kind of like demolished, but I love this shade here, the highlighter, Sinner, to go all over the lid as like the shimmer. It's such a good color. So I'm going to start off by taking the Morphe shade. So I'm going to take that and a mixture of Brownie from the Jar palette. And I'm going to start packing that on in the outer corner of the eye. So as you can see, I'm kind of like patting it on and like pulling down as I get to this part, just so then when I go in with the other shades, I've kind of made it easy for myself to blend the two together. Okay, now, oh my god, sorry, I realised that that was not zoomed in and I apologise dearly. So basically I'm doing this. Patting and pulling down. Then I'm going to be taking those shades that I talked about before, so one from Anastasia Beverly Hills and the one from Makeup Geek, and mixing the two together. And I'm going to be taking that to blend out that shade, or those two shades that I just put on before. A small Morphe M506 brush, and just use that to blend out the edges really lightly. It's got no product on it at all. Cool, so now I've done that, I'm going to be taking the same two shades from Makeup Geek and Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm going to be bringing that through the front of my eye. Like so, getting that Morphe brush and just blending that out. Okay, so now I'm done with like that part of the eyes. I'm then going to start with the shimmer. So I'm going to be taking that shade from the Be Perfect Stacey Marie Original palette, which is Sinner, which is actually a highlighter. But I literally love it on the eyes. So I just get like a flat glitter, I guess it's like it's a Holy Grail glitter brush. And I'm just going to start by putting that all over the lid. As it kind of gets to where the eyeshadow meets the shimmery shade, I start to kind of like drag it out a little bit so it's not like a really harsh solid line. And I like to also apply a little bit to the lid and then kind of like slowly, like how I was doing before, like put the product down and drag down so it kind of blends out a little bit more. Then I'm going to go back in with the two brushes that I used before, so one with the darker colour on, and I'm going to blend that little section out there. And then the one for the colour through the front, and I'm just going to blend those colours out as well. And as you can see, the colour on my lid is quite like a gold colour. I like to dull that down a tiny little bit by using the NYX Shimmer Down Pigment. This one's in the shade 04. It's kind of like, I don't even know how to explain the colour of it, to be honest with you, but it's a really nice colour. So I just put like a tiny bit in the lid, and I just use the Zoeva Luxe Classic Shader, which is like a flat but fluffy brush, and I apply this all over the lid. You don't need to add a base to this. You see how that's, oh, you can't really, I don't know if you can tell in the camera or not, but this side is just now so much less gold, which unless obviously someone's wanting a gold look, but I just think this is quite like a nice colour. It's a lot more dulled down, not dull, I don't even know how to explain it, it's just not, it's still goldy, but it's not like a bright yellow gold, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm going to be doing the eyeliner, so I'm just going to be taking the Inglot 77 and also the Inglot Duraline because I love them. And I'm also going to be taking the black from the James Charles palette. I usually use either that black or the black from the Jar palette. So either one of those. They're both just as good as each other. And I'm just going to be doing a line on my lash line and then just adding a tiny little bit of dark in the outer corner just to hide where the liner finishes. Okay, and then the lashes that I'm going to be using, I'm pretty sure are Holy Grail Sugar ones, but they are like super old. Well, I just found them in a box with no name on, so I'm guessing they're sugar lashes because I always use sugar lashes and they kind of look like sugar lashes, so yeah. But I'm also going to be using my favorite glue at the moment, the Holy Grail Lash Glue. It's so good. Okay, so now that both my lashes are on, I am just going to take a makeup wipe, and I like to just add, these just are from Priceline, they're like just $2, so they're not the greatest, but they're pretty good for $2. But I just like to add a little bit of micellar water just to them, just to make them a little bit more damp. And I'm just going to clean up anything that's fallen out underneath my eyes, and also just wipe over my face as well. So the primers that I like to use are the Benefit Matte Rescue Primer, which is like a gel, and I use that in like the T-zone, so like forehead, nose, and on the chin as well. And then for the rest of the face, I like to use the Laura Mercier Radiance Primer, which is like a moisturizer with a little bit of a glow. So that's what I like to do first. Then I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Light Beige, and I'm taking Dirty 30s sponges. I just got a new batch of these and I'm obsessed. They are so like squishy and just fresh, and I love them. When I'm applying the foundation, I like to just like pat it in and just continue patting until I get like the desired coverage. I tend to start in certain areas, do one layer and then go back and add more coverage if I feel necessary, just as I feel like that works best with this foundation when building coverage. Then for me, I just take the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This one's in the shade 20 because I don't really like it to be too highlighty. Obviously you want to highlight, but I don't like it to be like stark white underneath the eyes. On clients, I use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard. I do normally use the little Dirty 30s, the smaller ones, for clients, because when you're applying the foundation or like the concealer and like you're going really close to the under eyes, a lot of people are not used to having something like this sort of size. I mean, a lot of people aren't used to having things go near their eyes anyway, so they will be a little bit sensitive towards that, let alone like a massive ginormous sponge going towards their face. So I tend to just use these small ones, which is a lot more, obviously people will still flinch and be a bit like, oh, what the hell, but like it's a lot less than what like a massive one will do. Then I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm just going to be setting under my eyes and my laugh lines as well. Sorry, I hope you can still see that. Just really. And for bronzer and like contouring, for cream contouring, I'm taking the Bobbi Brown foundation stick in the shade Cool Almond and the Hourglass foundation brush, and I'm just gonna paint it onto the brush and like tap it onto the areas that I want it to be in. I find that if you draw like a line onto the face, that the line tends to stay no matter how much you blend. It doesn't seem to go away, so that's why I like to kind of put it on the brush and then go in with the shape that I want, or like in the area that I want to. Then to set my face, I take the Laura Mercier, oh no, my god, it's not Laura, no, the Australis Fresh and Flawless powder, obviously going down my neck as well because I have put foundation on my neck, and I literally push this in to every inch of my face. Say hello, quick. I can't. Then for contour, I'm taking the Hoola Benefit Bronzer and the Holy Grail Cheek Definer brush, and again patting this on For bronzer, a little bit of warming up of the face, I'm taking the MAC Give Me Sun bronzer, and this I use on myself. I use this brush and do like sort of circular motions. When, I don't know why, but on a client I use like a more of a angled, like a fluffy brush, I guess, and I kind of like pat it in. To be fair, I do kind of like pat it in with this one as well, but I do kind of tend to use like a little bit more circular motions as well. Blush. Actually, before blush, I like to wipe away my under eye. There's anything that's left over. So just wiping that away. And the same on this side. Just really getting in there underneath the eye, making sure there's no powders left. And then for blush, I like to take the MAC Warm Soul Blush. This is just such a nice pinky colour, but it's not like too overpowering. Then over the top of that, I like to use Hot Mama by the Balm. For highlighter, I have two favourites at the moment. So I like to use the Oh Darling by MAC, as everyone probably knows because I'm obsessed with it. So this one's the Doll Beauty highlighters. This one's in the shade Shine Bright. Honestly, you'll be shining bright with this, let me tell you. I literally go like this, like tap twice and I shake it off and I just go over the cheekbones a little bit more. Same again on this side and a little bit on the nose and the cupid's bow, and that is literally it. Like, I do not go any more than that because this stuff is like, wow. So basically I'm going to be taking Brownie and then that shade from, I think it's 25% off from the James Charles Morphe palette. And I'm going to be running this along my lower lash line. I will then grab the black shade from either the Jar palette or the James Charles one and kind of run that just to match up with the outer corner on the top, because obviously we put the black in the outer corner on the top of the eye. So I'm just going to match that up on the bottom. Then I'm going to be taking those lighter shades that I used from that palette that I made previously, and I'm just going to be making sure that everything's blended out. I'm just going to use that on a fluffy brush and just go underneath everything else. The brown eyeliner that I like to take is just the Inglot one. It's the same as the black gel liner, it's just the brown one. A little tip that I got from like I've seen Jasmine Lee doing, you use one of these little lip ones, so it's a lot squishier than like a eyeliner brush or whatever, and it's just a lot less, I feel like, intrusive on the eyes. I feel like a brown is a lot more, with a more softer look, a brown looks nicer just because it's a lot more soft. It's not as harsh on the eye and it just looks like, can you see, it looks a lot less like harsh than what a black would look. Then once I've done that, I like to take a brush, where is it? This like flat brush, and I'm going to be taking the shade Too Much from the Jar palette, and I'm going to be running this as close to my lash line as I possibly can. So I kind of go underneath the lashes and smudge along. Just so I can then make sure that there's no gaps in between where the gel liner is and where the eyeshadow is. Okay, so once I have done the eyes, I'm then going to take the MAC Vanilla Pigment and I'm going to use that as an inner corner highlight. I don't like to use too much for this, so just a small amount is good. Okay, so then I feel like this is the part that most people don't, I guess, know that I do. So I take like a little fluffy brush and I blend this part out here. This is where the P. Louise base is meeting the foundation, and the same near the eyebrow here. Then I like to take this fluffy brush and I take the shade Tan Lines from Makeup Geek and I start to blend towards the temple. Really lightly, but like obviously enough so you can see some sort of colour. and it kind of just really makes that edge soft. Like you see how there it's quite rounded, there it just is really blended and soft, and there's just like, it's like everything just blends into one. Then for lips, I like to use the MAC Strip Down Lip Pencil. My favourite like nude shade is MAC Honey Love. And then what I like to do is go in with the Laura Mercier Glow Powder, the translucent powder. Tap off as much as I can. And I kind of go over the T-zone again and kind of just like give myself, like we're set in place, but we're glowing. Do you know what I mean? Just gives the skin like a really nice finish, but with having like the skin's like nicely set down. And yeah, this is the completed look. This is like my go-to for clients, soft glam makeup look. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm starting to get back into like filming and doing makeup looks and stuff like that again. So yeah, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video basically. I thought that it would be like, yeah, a good idea to do like a look like this just because it is quite a requested look that I get often. So I hope this helped in some sort of way, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!